application. Okay?
Right, what we just watched is the kind of video that I've been commenting on, and the responses that I was talking about in my last video are always along the lines of, unless you've experienced it yourself, unless you've felt it yourself, then you can't comment. Now, ignoring the fact that I have trained with some of the people that claim that they can use these kind of skills and they never did work, ignoring that, yes, you are fully entitled to say it's rubbish without ever experiencing it, because body mechanics don't work like that. And the excuses I hear from these people, these kind of cult victims, are that, no, the body mechanics work differently because it's internal. No, body mechanics are body mechanics. Like, my arm only bends this way. You can't suddenly say, well, no, it's internal, so my arm will bend that way, because the body is the body. How the body reacts is how the body reacts. It doesn't matter if it's internal, external. That man doing, like, the beginning style and the application to it, like, the energy is going up and kind of forwards at an angle, right? This guy, like, why is his hips doing that? Because if I'm reaching out and I'm getting pushed against, I'm gonna go back at this kind of angle, or I might get, if I keep my hands really stiff, I might get pushed back at that kind of angle. I might even, like, come up, but my hips definitely aren't going to do that. It's rubbish. Now, the video carries on, and I've got some more thoughts to share on that, so let's go. So I showed that technique twice there, so you get a feel of what's happening, which is basically he's touching him, and if you look, he does like a little hop. He jumps and basically jumps on the floor. And you see this with the people who get demonstrated on all the time in these videos, where they just jump around. And you got to ask yourself, like, how is this like a newbie? Is this somebody that's doesn't know what they're doing? Because, like, why are you training? Why are you paying all this money? Why are you spending all this time training if when someone kind of throws you, you act in such a stiff and untrained way, and and just jump on the floor? Watch again and watch his foot. Watch what his foot does. That's not someone pushing or tripping or putting on a wrist lock and applying pressure. It's someone moving their hand and you jumping on the floor. Just watch. So here we have another technique, and if you watch, he just jumps up, kicks his legs out from underneath him, just like in all these other videos. It's just a jump up to make it look more effective. And now we're about to see him try and push this person. Like, if you stand like that and someone pushes you, you're falling over. This man, he just pushes his left leg back, lifts his right leg up somewhat. So I've included this technique, not just for the absurdity of it, but for the fact he's about to mess up. Look, watch here. Look, he wasn't supposed to move there. He slipped up. Not supposed to move. He's so enthralled in his teacher and just so eager to do whatever the teacher's telling him to do that he just goes with it. Because we went that way last time, the teacher kind of turns to look at the camera to the audience, and you think, oh, he's doing it, I better shift that. Oh no, sorry, wrong. And it's these kinds of slip-ups in their own videos that they then post that just shows what a load of rubbish it is. Now, I know there'll be people that say, well, that's because he's just so inexperienced, this guy he's training on. He's a newbie, doesn't really know what he's doing. So let's watch the Martial Man who's been training for years. Let's see if he's any different, or let's see if he just jumps around like all these other deluded or con artists. Take your pick, which you are.
Yeah, you do whatever you want, preaching.
On the left,
I let you get me in the luck for it. Crank it, you see.
Oh, shoved away. Jumps up in the air.
More, you can take me down.
Crank it. That's
Look it.
that's really cranked, isn't it? Let's see him just jump up in the air again. Hey! Right, now get ready to see a really forceful takedown attempt. Oh,
you want to do the takedown? You do the takedown.
So maybe the martial man was just having a bad day. He was off his step, you know, he got up on the wrong side of bed. I mean, you're never going to see him hop around and jump around like that, embarrassing himself, showing that his training all these years has amounted to nothing again, are you? That's just not going to happen, especially not with the same person. He'll have gone away and he'll really be thinking himself, you know, go to bed at night thinking, how did I let him make me hop around like a weirdo? So that's definitely, you never catch a martial man caught out on the same techniques twice. Oh, my mistake, here he is, hopping around like a dickhead. He's just touching him, but yeah, he has to hop. Jump back, yeah, that really looked authentic then. Again with the pushing, you wouldn't want these guys helping you push a car at all, would you? What even is that? And what? We need to take a close look at this. Now, you'll have to excuse this rather poor use of slow motion, but I don't really have the software to do it properly. So here we have, he's jumping up and jumping back. Look, the force is going directly behind him, yet he's going up and back. And he has to do this himself. That's not from the force of the teacher here. Look, up and back. Right, so sorry, back to this bizarre angle. Like, if it helps, I'm quite a tall person, so this might be the angle you'd be looking at anyway if we were in person. But yeah, let's go into this again. So once again, he's like, if this is where he's trying to push, like he's stood here, so you haven't even got. It's not very good Tai Chi because you're not supposed to overextend in Tai Chi. So how are you supposed to push the person if the limit of your reach is the start of the person? You know, you need to be, if you're going to push, you need to be here so you can actually push the person. And now the teacher, like, he's like pushing forwards like this. Now that force is going this way. So how is it that the martial man is having to go up and away? Is it because the martial man is having to do that little jump because there's not enough force being pushed that way to actually make him move that way? So he's got to do these little hops because otherwise he won't be moved. He'll just be stuck there and it'll be obvious that what's going on doesn't actually work. Now this one for me is the most obvious rubbish, because if we watch, again, the force is either going forwards or backwards, and yet he drops straight down. And if you watch, look at it, he jumps up. There's no upward pressure here at all. He's either going to stumble forwards or be pushed back. That's the way to fall. But look, massive jump up to go down. Why? Why is that? Where's the force? Where's the energy that is sending him up in the first place? So in conclusion, I think a lot of the problems come from the misconception of what it means to be an internal martial art. The internal refers to the method of training. It's not some mystical force that's going to cause people to jump up and down like they've been tasered. It's not something that makes bodies react in ways that are unnatural and go against how body mechanics function. It's just that in Tai Chi, most, and I stress most because let's remember the importance of yin and yang here, most of the training is a lot softer, is a lot more about feeling what your opponent is doing, pushing hands drills, you know, like learning applications in ways that for the most part are unrealistic but are a gentle way of doing it. You're not trying to bash each other's heads in. Now, if we compare that to like external martial arts, like with, say, wrestling, we'll take wrestling for an example. The vast majority of wrestling training will be wrestling people. It will be trying to get somebody on the floor or them getting you on the floor. It's not in the kind of more gentle aspects of it. But yin and yang, you can't have the hard without the soft, you can't have the soft without the hard. You also need to train. You know, when you watch pummeling exercises, it will very much look like the kind of pushing hands drills. You know, when they practice drilling techniques, they're against compliant, to a point, partners, because you're not going to be able to learn how to throw like effectively and efficiently if all you've ever got is somebody fully resisting you. And as I say, in Tai Chi, at some point you've got to push hands against somebody that doesn't want to be pushed. You've got to put on some gloves and spar with somebody who is also trying to hit you to see if your techniques work. It's just that the greater emphasis in Tai Chi is on the softer internal aspects of the martial art, whereas the emphasis in the external, as in with wrestling, is on the external aspects, on the hard aspects. Now, when it all comes down to, when it comes to actually fighting, like a punch is a punch, like a push is a push, a takedown is a takedown, an armbar is an armbar. And if you're telling me you can apply these things by being gentle, like, you're just talking utter rubbish. And there's a reason why we don't see the way these people show these moves used against anyone other than their own students, or, you know, people deluded enough to pay money to turn up to these seminars. And I know not all of them are con artists. I know some of them believe it. It's kind of a mass hypnosis kind of thing. You know, if you expect to be thrown like that, then you put yourself in a position where you get thrown like that. It's like with the guy in the first video where, you know, the teacher turns, but not to show the technique, but yet he still acts in this sort of, oh, and then there's a kind of a moment, if you watch close enough, where the teacher kind of realises, oh, he shouldn't have acted like that. It's hypnosis. Like, turn up to an MMA gym, explain what you want to do, film it. Like, just say, right, I want you to kind of resist this, and I'm going to throw you. And I guarantee, like, the MMA gym will allow you to do it just so that they can laugh in your face when it doesn't happen. I know it for a fact. Like, you can say, oh, it's because you haven't experienced it all you want, but there you are saying you have proof with these videos of showing these techniques being used against compliant people, you know, people that are so poor at their own martial art that they can't absorb a push without hopping up and down. Then you're deluded, or you're a con artist, and you should quit. Show me, prove me wrong. Show me these kinds of soft techniques. Show me someone standing front on who can actually resist being pushed by somebody that is actually trying to push them. Start with that. Just show me that. Show me how grounded you are with, you know, just a forward standing stance, that you can take a push from like a physically strong person who is actually trying to push you, not just sort of stand there and moonwalking, basically. Get back to me. You won't be able to do it. I guarantee it. It's complete and utter rubbish, and you are an embarrassment to traditional martial arts.